Good morning, good morning. Oh yeah. This is my National Geographic, which I made prompts for myself all through the magazine. And today, the prompt is fiddle. So I don't know how I'm going to work on that. I know that my song is The Devil Went Down to Georgia because, hello, Georgia's next door. I'm in South Carolina. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I like that it looks like fireworks. I like that Star Spangled Banner one. C. Jenkins. Okay. I worked on my Hobonichi. This is my Hobonichi for 2023, and it's a cousin. It's all in 1 year. I took the cover off because I am rather expanding my borders here, but I have a few pages left to work on these tabs, and then I need to kind of go back through August. But the way I do this year, I've had the most fun doing my Hobonichi. Actually, this is like my fifth or sixth year doing it. I don't do the front pages the way you're supposed to. Really and truly, you can do them whatever way you want. I decorate them with a bunch of other stuff. Here's a whale that I made out of spreads of my own. I just do all kinds of things in here. I kind of track my projects. This was the Aquatic Archaeology Art Journal that I did in February. I'm so glad I put the dates. Gertie, this was your idea. There's a sloth, which is a horribly ugly sloth, but, and these are other projects that I've done over the last couple years. Just like my, what do you call these things? Ooh, whatever they're called, I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. But, things that, so that I can keep track of my projects and remember when I did them and stuff like that. This is how I do my Hobonichi. Journal projects. Oh. These were supposed to be for 2023. I only got as far as February. Oh well. Last year I did a documentation of what happened in Ukraine. Just a little blurb. Every day, and for me to have to do that again, it was very depressing. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do by the month what happens in Ukraine this year, but I haven't done it yet. Quote projects, which I do have a few I could put in here now. Going to our beach house, my favorite national parks, of course, the one here and the one I grew up with. That was the closest one. Goals for 2023, which I really don't set anything. Oh, well, I violated what not to do. No negative, which I try not to be negative, and no lazy days. Well, I was quite lazy this year, really quite lazy, but it's not my fault. It's my ankle's fault. For those of you that don't know, I shattered my ankle in September of 2019. No, September of 2020. It was in COVID, but yeah, because all my doctor's appointments were very structured. But it was past the point where my husband, he was able to come with me. But I have two plates and 6 pins in my ankle. So it has created a different person with me, because even though I rehabbed and did all of that, it swells constantly. By the end of the day, it's swollen still. I'm sure if I lost a little weight, it would be better, but at my age, that's easier said than done. Anyhow, it has changed my activity level for sure. Every journal I do like this has a by Bun Shrine. I just love her aesthetic. I love maps. I love washi tape. Anyhow, so how I do mine. These are the beginning pages. I love this and just fun stuff. From our beach, this was January. Ukraine is still happening. I will be a different age this year. Gift shops, just fun. But how I start a what do you call it? Hobonichi spread. I go in with pictures. Then I go in with maybe receipts or a label or something that I had, current events. And then I go in with color and the space is left. And I really, really like all that. A couple topics I decided to just not talk about it every single day. Ukraine, the crazy politics in the United States. I just don't talk about it every day because it's too depressing for me. And, you know, like Lisa Marie Presley died. Stuff like that, sad stuff. I practiced my drawing because I took a drawing class online. Some of the quilts I've made, some of the quilts I would like to make. I love football. Yay, the 49ers won last night by the skin of their teeth. It's just preseason. Keeping track of weather is very interesting for me. The weather this year has been such a challenge everywhere. Paintings that I did at the beach house. Just candy labels. Our granddaughter's school picture. The year of the rabbit. Or the cat, depending if you're in Vietnam. Little things. I knew I was traveling to California, Missouri, and Vietnam this year. Of course, South Carolina, we did have a little thing called the Murdoch trial here, which is insane. Our dog, who is quite entertaining, provides all kinds of stuff. Labels from things that I bought. I had to update my passport, getting a new passport. Just all kinds of stuff. Printables. I'm on like 3 people's Patreons. I love labels off of fruit and vegetables. This was a cucumber and a yellow onion. For whatever reason, I like it. Some of my own stuff, but this is how I do our dog when he was a teeny tiny puppy. Now he's 2.5 and he is a little thief. I was keeping track of the Murdoch stuff, and then I just kind of did a final thing. Oh, weather balloons and spies in the United States from China. It was crazy. I was inspired by Picasso one day on one of my journals, and so this kind of made its way in there. If I don't have anything happening, the earthquakes that we've had in South Carolina are crazy. Yes. One of the mystery objects was shot down right at our beach, where our beach house is. We had just left for the week because we come back and forth in the winter, but mostly there. Our anniversary. More drawing from architecture. But anyhow, this is how I do my Hobonichi. And Tina Turner died. I just love more food labels. Sometimes there's nothing going on. And I want to kind of make my own stamp. And you can buy things, but I like making my own stuff more and more and more. Kind of like in the corner every single day. The weather, the moon, the date and the day, which they kind of do that already in the Hobonichi here. But I just kind of want to do my own. Projects that I have finished. I keep my lesson plan. This was my how to make my Vietnam travel journal, everything I wanted to cover. After I got back, labels from his soap, a bar of handmade soap, which was luscious. This is me in my Hobonichi, and I absolutely love it. The day our dog bit the groomer twice. Luckily didn't break the skin. He's terrible. Halloween projects I want to do, but this is in Happy Mail. Ridiculous people in the world. He has a buddy that will be on the other side, but I try not to talk about it all the time. My dog interfering with my sewing machine. My friend's mom that died. Just crazy what I'm watching. Travel ideas, not travel ideas, journaling ideas for Halloween. Can't tell you about them because my mind has changed like 6 times. Anyhow, another earthquake. how our flowers this year were not nearly as bright. Even though we had such a mild spring and a late spring, they were not nearly as bright and pretty. My friend's mom, who was winding down her life at 98 plus, she died like 4 days before her 99th birthday. Just, you know, and this is a woman I grew up with since I was in the 3rd grade. A long time ago. So, you know, Hawaii, just tragic. Our friend that died that painted our painting over our fireplace. And his memorial service that his wife had, that was lovely, lovely. This page, I think, is going to be all of these. What are these called? Barcodes. The Egos that I bought for my sister when she was here in June, but I finished them up. You know, this is what goes in your Hobonichi life, and they do market it as a life book. And I think somebody was it Judy that reminded me of that this year? It is a life book. There's the dog right there with my pillow. So it is, everything goes in here. But I also have like a 5-year of my own. I didn't buy it. It's just another journal that I have divided into 5 sections. And I also have a 5-year, a current project, this project, and then a Hobonichi that I work on. Not every day, but I keep track of everything every day. And then I catch up. So, fun. Oh, this is supposed to go in. Sometimes I put like quotes from Ali Edwards cards. What do you call these? Project Life cards or whatever you want to call them. But anyhow, okay, today we're doing fiddle. And this is where I go, I still have this whole thing of paper, which is actually grown because I keep making stuff. But I'm not sure how I want to do this. I'm heavily influenced by this lady in England, Gaynor Paddle, I think is how she says her name. I'm not sure. I just love her aesthetic of everything. And then she referred on one of her videos to a guy that does jelly plates. I'm like, oh gosh, please, I don't need any more influencers. I have all these circles that I have punched over this month. And I was working on this late last night, checking the 49ers football score. And I have marker stuff on me. I was up till midnight last night. I love a circle, in case you hadn't figured that out yet. I have all of these that look different. I might replace this one with this one. These all kind of look the same. And sometimes I just take my box of paper that's left over after a project that I've kind of curated for that project. Not really. But I kind of take some of the bigger pieces and just start making circles. Punching circles. Because I do know that I will use circles. And the obvious thing would be to make the shape of a fiddle. Now, the geometric shape thing that I have done for myself also, that kind of doesn't really fit in. See if I can find. We just happen to have some paper that I painted yesterday. Oh, now wait a minute. Okay. Change your mind. Change your mind. See, this is how these circles happened. So yeah, we'll take something like this and just start punching. It's ugly, but if you punch circles out of it, they're pretty. But I painted this one yesterday. This was like it started out as a cleaning off your paintbrush page. But it kind of looks like the top of the fiddle where the strings come in and those things poke out. Not musically inclined at all. Can you tell? I think, where's my scissors? I'm going to use this because this was gorgeous. I think. But I could be just satisfied with just that. Now this kind of stuff can go on my Hobonichi. It's like a border on a page. I like that. I really like this page. Just the way it is. I might take some black ink. So sometimes, not necessarily. And I mean, it just, I am very intuitive, and this is called out to me. My husband asked me this morning, do you have a glue stick? I'm like, do I have a glue stick? I don't know what he's fixing. He won't tell me. He goes, do you have to know everything? I'm like, well, yeah. But I need to borrow a glue stick. Do you have a glue stick? Kinda. I have a couple. All right, let's see. I'm thinking I'll kind of just, you know, accent some of this stuff with an ink pen. Because sometimes that is effective for me. To me. The neck. Is that what this is called? More like a guitar one, but we're going to say it's a fiddle. Okay, okay. Okay, the devil went down to Georgia. Needs to go someplace. The devil tried to corrupt Georgia. That's what it should be. Sorry. Devil went down to Georgia. I think I just don't want to change anything. I like it just like that. Geometric shape can be the circles. Doesn't have to be angular geometric shape. Although I could put like something underneath it. We're going to do a flip through of everything we've done so far. All right, here's the National Geographic Geo Journal, which I'm getting better about putting dates on stuff. That's the cover. This is the reason why. Inspiration, fun, exercise in art, meditative, fun. What happens next? Who knows? Art sparks. All of this sparks other stuff, leads to other rabbit holes. This was fins to the right and fins to the left, because this word was in something. I think that's what it was. This one I did not like, but it's starting to grow on me. And now I might come in with, I see faint lines of black Stabilo. That was before I decided to do geometric shapes, I think, because I found that piece, that article with that picture in it, like the 4th or 5th day. When life gets in the way, I think life was the key word here. This is where the geometric stuff started happening. Fantasy by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I just put light in there like a dingleberry. Earth, Wind, and Fire. But this is another page I had painted. And then it started looking like crowns. And then the geometric shapes really became a thing on this one. This was the frog. The geometric shapes are up here. His crown, because he's a prince. And it was Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Start a love train was the word in there. And these were... Oh, this was that animal that had that little snouty thing. Oh, this was the beginning of the mold spores, I think. But one of them looked like this under a microscope. So I could, every time I started, there's yellow lines under here that are geometric. And every time I started with this plant thing, all I could think of was Rocky Horror Picture Show and Time Warp. So that's what it became. This one I still love. This was the beginning of the elephant article, and it was Beast of Burden was in the article somewhere. So that became the song, of course. Then these I cut out the inside of an envelope, and then these were other things. I just started layering, and then I cut them out in geometric shapes and put a lot of Stabilo and tempera paint sticks on them. This one doesn't really fit in, but that's okay because they're all colorful and they all do. This was one that the elephant had flowers all over it, painted on it. And so I cut out flowers from scraps in this basket of stuff. This was the beginning of the removed article, which was about the indigenous people in the United States being removed from their homes and put in other places. So I removed sections of my geometric shape by cutting holes in them and then putting the holes kind of like in boundaries, because they were in boundaries on reservations. It just kind of all spoke to me, and I still love this one. A sad, sad article on how I kind of made it, you can't say I turned lemons into lemonade, but I chose to focus on something else besides sad. And the song was If I Could Turn Back Time. And then this one was the shape. These people were superimposed with other photographs, and the shape was a thistle. A thistle plant was superimposed with a face, so I cut out this little shape. And then the geometric shapes were these little tiny triangles, and then the first cut is always the deepest because thistles can cut you. Speaking from experience as a child. This was something about, it was map. So at that time, Hawaii's fire was still happening. And the map that I had closest to me the second page happened to be Hawaii. Because I've used it for other projects. So I took out Hawaii in the little town. Lahaina is right in here somewhere. Anyhow. And the geometric shapes are the black underneath. And then that kind of got smeared, so it kind of looks like fire. And it was Take Me Home, Country Roads. This one was, the lady was superimposed with book pages. And I did paperback writer and just kind of colored on a piece of book page. Those were my shapes. It's just fun. This one, the lady was superimposed with a cemetery. And I made kind of like, there was a lot of crosses on as the cemetery grave markers. So I made it kind of just spoke to me, for sure this one did. And I did the underlying shapes kind of like this too, but I took it a step farther with putting the cross on top. And this one was Seminole Winds. That's the song. This one was the beginning of the mold spores article, Under the Microscope. And they were a lollipop shape, but I did the lollipop shape, but I tore it apart and I flipped it around. This is all thanks to Gaynor Paddle, because she does stuff like this sometimes too. And the only song that I could come up with was Little Red Corvette. I'm like, I can't change that. It has to stay that way. This was blue. Did the same kind of method here, but this S kept showing up. But I don't know why I did. Oh, the song was Forever, I think. Or the words were forever in the article. I can't remember. So I did Forever in Blue Jeans. Another one. And this one was lots of lollipop shades. And my prompt to myself was lollipops, but I did it a little bit differently. And then the song was Lollipop, Lollipop. This one was Shadow. This was the beginning of another article, I think. But I did all blue, not blue, black, which is my own paper from projects that I've done, put onto Procreate and just kind of mishmash. And then I printed it in black and white. But then there's these little slivers of paper from my paper box as if they were shadows. And they're barely visible. They really blend. And then, of course, I did Shadow Dancing from Andy Gibb because, hello. And this was yesterday, Sounds of Silent. Which this one is when I painted outside yesterday morning. And this was the layout. But it all kind of, I don't remember why I used Sounds of Silence. There's an S and a G. Oh, Simon and Garfunkel. I think I just kind of kept going with color and paper and color and more paper and black. And even though this one, it was very intuitive. And it was, so that's, the Sounds of Silent was like the things speaking to me out of this paper. And then, I skipped a page. Okay, we're going to have to cut this one out. we're just going to do this because this paper is so luscious. I hate cutting it out. And then this one, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, because it's a fiddle. So let's see what's tomorrow. Okay, here's the fiddles. Yeah, they have little necks. Well, some of these are guitars, but that's a fiddle. Oh, that's a mandolin. Our friend that just died, that was a lot of what he played, was a mandolin. He played all kinds of musical instruments, to the point where he had a doctorate in bluegrass. This building is from the 1300s. So I think I put 1330 because that's when it says was built around 1330. The Church of the Holy Savior in Belgrade, Serbia. I don't know how that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So we have a few more days to go. Usually by the end of the month. I don't know why I have to do things in month projects, but I do. And then, let's see. This is where I wrote all my prompts ahead of time, which I don't use. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This is where the geometric shape came from. But and then I'll pull this out and it'll go. Goodness, we've done this whole page. It'll go in my Hobonichi, and that kind of acts as art. So yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Which today's the 20th. That only takes us through the 27th. I think that's the end of the magazine. That's why. So we might have some in-betweener pages, which is what I call things that I do in between projects. But I have so many ideas for the next project. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. I do, when I say I work intuitively, I do. But I need some kind of guideline. And that to me is something like this, where I just have, I want to do a geometric shape, I want to do this prompt, and I want to do this song. Otherwise, I don't know how it's going to happen. And is there a song about numbers? I could go in here. And so that's enough of a guideline for me, a map, to work my project. I don't like to do anything more than that. Now, sometimes with Christmas and sometimes with Halloween, I go deeper but it usually backfires on me, I will say. If I have too much structure, I either get bored easily with the project or I put too much pressure on myself to get it perfect with what I have in my head. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the thought I had in my head needs to be executed perfectly. And that puts a lot of pressure on me. So I kind of have backed off from that a little. But the next project might be fallish themed because I have so many ideas popping around in my head for Halloween. I even bought supplies, but the one I bought the most supplies from, I think I'm not going to do because I found something else to do. And yeah, so we're still not sure. Ali Edwards people are doing Christmas on steroids right now. I'm like, if I do Christmas for the next 5 months, I'm going to be burnt out by Halloween for Christmas. I know that in myself. And I may not put these 2 pages in the book, in the Hobonichi. Well, this is part of it, so I might. But like this one won't go in there, but I can put something else on top of this later, like that. And this is just a composition notebook where I had started it with other projects and got sidetracked. But I think I'm going to put on here notes. Because, you know, that's what Gaynor Paddle did. And if I'm saying her name wrong, I apologize. But she has been a great inspiration to me this week. And then she referenced a jelly plate guy. I'm like, please don't do that to me. I did recently get a new stamp. Which some of this stuff I already had because it's just but I love that stamp. That is a stamp and a world map. This is, I have this, I think, someplace else. But there's a little bit more stuff on this one, and I like it. There's a flip-flop, a neat destination ticket, a license plate, and a little tiny postcard, but the film strip is what caught me, and this globe, even though I know I have other globes. And the compass. And I have that in another set too, but this was a cheap set, a very cheap set. That's how I started, was travel journaling. So, goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this. See you tomorrow with 1330.